salutations, my wonderful people, and welcome to Unsolved. I am Godpool. I have a bird who just cannot stop climbing on my back. And with me are my wonderful players. Kellen, who plays the role of our wonderful Richard Barden.
Hello, everyone.
Michael, who plays the grumpiest Gene Franklin.
Hello.
Sounds like Gene. And Brienne, who plays the very happy Leslie Hart.
Not quite at the moment. I don't know.
None of you are very happy at this moment in the game. It's been a rough day for y'all.
In a bit. Just a little.
So, do you get before we go and do all of the like recapping and stuff like that, do we need to increase any skills for y'all?
I thought
Nope, we
we might have had one. Oh, okay. I thought
Dodge.
it said not.
You credit on dodge.
Oh, that's right. I did.
Okay.
I have it written on the I marked it on the online sheet.
Okie dokie.
You should roll 1d.
I'm not gonna roll.
Oh god. You do not increase your dodge.
No, and it's so low. I really needed to increase it. Crap. Oh well.
Yeah, Gene did not get anything, and Richard did not get it. So Leslie only had dodge. It was a very critless session for once. Usually Leslie or Gene get like at least one skill. Both.
It's true.
So, let's do a little bit of recapping. Last time, let's see, where was the stuff? So, last time, you all decided, to head to Hearst's castle after getting a bunch of information. Richard requested police protection for Professor Quinn, and they gathered up all of their stuff and decided to interrogate what they deemed to be the last relevant suspect at the time. During their road trip to Hearst Castle, which is a 4-hour drive, an unmarked car began following them and shooting at them. They got a little banged up. Richard got shot in the neck, and Leslie got shot in the shoulder. But thanks to Richard's PTSD, they got out of it somewhat unscathed. With the exception of the aforementioned wounds. They managed to take out all of the guys, and they also managed to take one of them as a hostage until that man bit off his tongue.
Until my man killed the witness.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
And
No, you weren't there.
exactly. But until let's see. Before that happened, Gene went and called his police buddies and got them to send out some squad cars to get the crime scene underway. And our team had a kind of a difficult decision to make, whether or not they were gonna continue their continue driving to Hearst Castle, since they knew that the men that had been shooting at them worked at Hearst, the Herald Express. So they had a difficult decision to decide whether or not they were going to try to continue their trip to Hearst Castle and take care of and try to catch Hearst and whoever else might be there plotting with him, or whether or not they would seek medical attention. And we all know that they decided to do the unsafer course and immediately continue their travels. Last time we saw our agents, they had just pulled up to the castle grounds. They're sitting in the sheriff's truck, having gotten that as a loan since it didn't want to tamper the crime scene anymore. Everyone, Gene is somewhat giddy as he sits at the driver's seat. Not really showing it very much, but he has maybe to Leslie, who sits next to him, he has a little bit of an unnerving smile for you. While Richard in the back seat is kind of stressed out at the prospect that they're walking in there, and he can't really put his finger on why. Now, guys, what you gonna do? You're sitting in the car. You're in, there's a spot at the side of the grounds. You've pulled up your car as close to the entrance of the castle. You're just basically at the castle grounds where the gate is, and the gate is closed. The place
and there's no guard or anything?
It doesn't look like there's anybody there. The place looks somewhat... it looks a little bit abandoned.
Oh.
It seems like it hasn't been inhabited for a while. Not like a very long time, just like maybe a few months.
It would still probably keep some stuff, wouldn't they? I asked.
I don't know. I would think the rich guy wouldn't want to leave the castle. Godpool, the secretary said he was homesick, right?
Yep.
Okay. Not like in the hospital sick. I thought she made that clear.
Yeah,
she did make that clear.
Okay.
She made it clear that he was not at town.
Got it.
So it said, Richard, do you want to go open that gate for us?
With a very pale, deathly pallor, I give a grin. It's like, yeah, why not? Get out, go open the gate.
When you arrive at the gate, you see that there's a little padlock on it. And when you arrive, you note the padlock and you kind of glance through the gates, and you see that the large castle grounds have seems somewhat as noted before, seems somewhat unattended. But now that you can see the kind of gardens and flower beds, you can see that it's like they haven't been attended to as well. Most of the flower beds are kind of have weeds and patches of patches of grass coming up from between them. just not really kept.
Is this castle way out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere? Or are there other houses around? Like, are we just one town over now?
At this point in time, there are not any houses close by.
Okay. Like, how far away is not close by?
Like 20 or so minutes.
Okay. I'm trying to get a read for, like, if we called into the local PD, the chance that they would have noticed whether, like, this place going dead. Because I would think the house of a wealthy business owner, like, the police would take at least some notice of him.
It's almost a half-hour's drive between this place and the first other, like, place that has people.
Okay, so probably not. Oh well, I guess we're going in.
And I mean
So
that.
the padlock's closed and locked?
I mean that also, like, it's probably a little bit more because I'm using a map of the area today, and it seems like there's a pretty freaking long distance between every place. Then it's probably more distance now than now. So yeah, it's like half an hour to maybe an hour to the first sense of civilization other than this place.
Okay. Padlock's locked, you said, or just there is a padlock?
There is a padlock. And it is locked.
Okay. Gonna be my next question.
Sorry, do you attempt to pry open the padlock?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Just roll a, let's see. It's just strength.
Well, actually, before I do that,
Yeah?
walk back to the car. Hey, Gene, pop the trunk.
I pop the trunk. Actually, old car. I hand him the keys out the window, because you probably can't pop.
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember how old or when that first came into effect, so...
I think it's in the 70s, 80s that came up.
Okay. Then,
I was
fair
gonna
enough.
say, if I can't roll down the window with a button, I probably can't pop the trunk with one.
It's just a cord. No, alright, so I unlock the trunk, and I look in there. Do we have not necessarily a crowbar, but did the old cars come with the whole jack situation to jack it up and spare tire thing?
Oh, you're looking for a tire iron?
Yep, basically.
I would expect at least like a police car to have that stuff, so.
Alright, grab crowbar or whatever's available, and then go back to the gate.
It's probably a tire iron there.
Okay. And go back to the gate. Put some leverage, like, put it in between the lock, and then put leverage on it to pop it.
Alright.
Oh, before I pop it, I turn back to them. Hey, did you guys hear that screaming from the house for help?
No.
I turned to Gene. Gene, did you hear that screaming from the house for help?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm using that particular law.
Alright, give me a moment. I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna need to roll. And I need the book.
Alright. Sorry, I've seen that done so many times in shows, I finally get to use it. I mean, it's a real thing, the whole, like, oh, I heard someone screaming, I need to help them, so you can bust down the door without a warrant type thing.
I got everything ready except for the book that I need to use to run this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a genius. All right. So thank you, book. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you roll a resistance roll against the lock. So you need to, let's see.
Can we then impound the lock for resisting arrest?
No, this should be a 14. This should be an 8. It's not hard because you have the tire iron.
So
It is going
What
to
is
be. You need to get an 80 or below.
80 or below.
Yeah, because you're basically forcing open the lock.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, the lock just pops up and you just take it off and you push open the gates. The gates shriek like creak a little bit as you open them up. Probably haven't been opened up in a while. Haven't begun to rust or anything like that, but the hinges probably need some oiling.
You're very squeaky.
Hop back in the car, throw the tire iron in the back seat.
The gates are like the truck would be able to get through. You can like drive a bit of a distance, but you can't really park in front. There are staircases that go down there, and there's no actual like proper way of driving down. I'm gonna get my bird that just flew into a place it's not supposed to go. But yeah, but yeah, you guys basically. Oh. But yeah, you guys can basically see that when you go through the gate, there is there's an immediate right and left turn, and one of the turns goes behind the building, but there seems to be some like. It's like they've put across there just a lot of just crap. There's like a wheelbarrow and just a bunch of like construction materials there. And it doesn't really look like the roads needed any maintenance at the time. But it seems to be like left there abandoned. Like they were probably working on like fixing up the roads there or something at the time. And there's an immediate right turn, which allows you to see a few smaller houses, but when you look through the front view mirror of the car, you can see like a little bit to the left the castle itself, and it's a large white building with a very grandiose entrance. Let's see. It is a little bit on top of a hill, so you can see like the mountains, mountains around, and you note that it has a little bit into the building, but like it comes up two small towers, which seem to have mostly just decorative purposes. It seems like when you look at it, you don't really see a lot of windows in the front, but
There's not a lot of mirrors. Good.
There are a few windows in the front, like two next to the door, like small, mostly decorative windows, and then two windows like further up along the towers. And there's a little bit of a balcony above the main door. And in front of the main entrance, there is it's mainly for walking, but there is a fountain there that seems to be it is not in use, and the water seems to be mostly dried up. There doesn't seem to be a lot of water in the fountain itself. It does not look good as good it does in this picture. The colors look a little bit more faded. So the white color of the castle is more kind of grayish. You can drive the car a little bit into the grounds, but you unless you want to drive down a staircase, you would basically once you enter the gate, you would drive forward for like about 3 or 4 minutes, and then you'd be at the staircase that leads down and at the turns that I described before.
I don't know. Do you want to go drive down that staircase, Gene?
Yeah. No. No, I don't think we're driving down a staircase today.
Aww. You all exit the vehicle and kind of take a glance around, and you notice this specifically, Richard, but your kind of feeling of fear that kind of lingers in the back of your mind feels a little bit stronger in here. The air seems to be very stale and like there's no wind. It feels very... The air is very still and stale, and you can't really it doesn't really feel cold at all, but you kind of shiver a little bit. Like it's more like you get a cold feeling, but it's not. You can tell that the air is just kind of just neutral.
Building. Why did we come out here again? That's in character.
The secretary said that he was here, or she said he was at home, that he wasn't in town.
I don't think anyone's here or been here. Unless I'm missing something.
So I get out of the car.
Hmm?
And I have I take my FBI badge out in case there is somebody here and they come along with a shotgun because we're intruding.
I mean, we gotta have a stereotype groundskeeper.
Yeah, something like that.
I check my pistol, make sure it's fully loaded.
You...
Before I get out of the car, I'm just like, guys, should we? Is this right? This doesn't feel right, guys.
Definitely not.
I cast detect magic. No, wait, wrong way.
Gotta. Maybe it's just.
Although, can I do a like a spot head and see if there's something I could notice?
Yeah, but I'm gonna also let Kellen. You have one like you've loaded one of your magazines in, so you should have one extra magazine.
Okay.
You do not manage to see anything out of the ordinary. The whole place just seems to be very, with a lack of a better word, just kind of creepy. But you don't really get any other feeling than this place just looks abandoned and a little bit spooky. Probably because it has been like tended for a few months.
So I clap Richard on the shoulder. I just say it's okay. It's all right. We got a job to do.
I just deadpan stare at Leslie. All right. Well, if anything, if there is someone in there and this place is dilapidated as it is, maybe we need to bring one of the med kits just in case.
Yeah. You could bring all of the med kits. I don't know that it would help. But yes, go ahead. You can grab one of the med kits. G. Any more of the med kits?
You being a smartass, Leslie.
So you retrieve a medkit, and do you guys head down the stairs towards the main entrance area?
Yes.
You you walk down the stairs. Richard, more gingerly so than the rest of you, with Jean kind of heading down, kind of spearheading the group, having a bit more jump in his step than both Richard and Leslie. And Leslie and Richard, you can kind of see as Jean arrives a little bit ahead of all of you down the steps, and kind of just seems to be mostly fixated on the building, although from time to time he glances around as if he's just looking around.
Can I roll a psychology?
You can.
On Jean? I want to know what's up.
5.
That's a 5. You can check that.
I'll mark it in your sheet.
Right, because that's the one skill I need an upgrade on. Psychology.
I mean, isn't that the only skill you get to upgrade almost always?
Yeah, essentially that and my psychoanalysis.
Yeah.
Oh wow, someone gets to upgrade skills.
God, wow, such a roast.
Sorry, that was a little heated. I apologize. I'm lacking blood.
Oh, you made me laugh while I had stuff in my throat. Oh.
Richard, what are you talking about skills?
Blood loss.
Sorry guys, I don't know what.
Get to the hospital.
He's having an out-of-game experience.
Oh.
He knows the character in the game.
Just for one moment, I have a clarity that I'm a character on a piece of paper, and I take sanity damage.
Oh boy. Go play that game, I'll do it.
Alright, so what do I notice about Jean with my extreme success?
So, you notice that, I mean, it was kind of obvious that he was a little bit giddy before. Not like screaming in your face giddy, but now that you kind of take a while to look at him, it seems to be somewhat unnatural how giddy he is, and kind of sure he's talking about he's not. It feels like what he's saying and how he's acting is a little bit conflicting with each other.
Alright. So can I figure, so why would I figure that might be?
You're not sure. This is the first time you've seen him like this.
Jean,
Yeah, what's up?
I've been in my life. Why are you happy now?
Oh. You guys find anything yet?
Not really, as both Richard and Leslie, especially Leslie, have been a little bit more concerned about what you've been doing.
Can I roll I don't even remember what it's called, a spot hidden for I'm looking for a good door that might have the coin symbols on it.
All right.
Or a good place for that.
There's only one door there, which is the main.
Well, I'm thinking with regards to the house, like where would I want to go if I wanted to put the symbols somewhere to do a thing?
You would either like the two places that would grab your attention, at least at the courtyard, would be the towers, which means that you'd probably have to enter the place, or the fountain, like the statue in the fountain.
I'll go check out the statue in the fountain.
So you climb into the fountain, kind of wading through a little bit of water. It's maybe like a little bit deeper than the soles of your shoes. And you examine the statue for a while, and you don't notice any indentation or anything that would imply that the coin was supposed to go in there. However, you do notice like symbols from the coin on it. They're not very well hidden, but they're not like in the open either. Like you kind of just have to examine the statue to find them.
Yep.
And but they don't seem to like. Again, you don't understand any of them, and it feels like it when you kind of compare it to the coin, like in your mind. It feels like it's more incomplete than the coin. Like it hasn't been finished or something like that.
Okay. And I don't have enough whatever to figure out what would make it complete.
You would guess that it's missing a few of the notes, a few of the symbols.
Has studying this coin for now and perusing the coin for an extended period of time given me Cthulhu mythos? I will make that roll if you give it to me.
I mean, yeah, I'm guessing you would probably get mythos stuff from having this coin for so long. Let's see. Gene Franklin. Roll a, I'm gonna need to look at one of the books that gives you mythos stuff, because I have to kind of give you an idea how much mythos you're supposed to get when you look at these things. This is not like the mythos language, though, so. This is not a creature from outer space. That is not what I'm looking at. Righty. There they are, the books. Reading a mythos book, which you are not doing, but this is effectively the same thing. Did I not have any? So do these two. Ah, okay. Okay, so roll for me. Let's just. So roll for me a sanity check. All right, and that you totally failed that. So you're going to be taking a D4 amount of sanity damage. So you take 1 sanity damage, but you get 1 point in Cthulhu Mythos. Feel as if when you were examining this statue, you're understanding and kind of longing to understand the coin got even deeper than was previously. Now you really want to know what it is, and you feel
Sorry,
that
I
has.
missed everything you said in the last couple seconds, I think.
You feel like you're longing to kind of figure out what is missing with this statue, and what is these symbols, and what is so special about this coin. Trying to figure all that out has kind of opened up your mind a little bit more towards the prospect of what is available in the world. Kind of, could this be something otherworldly? And you feel your mind open up, kind of, to all sorts of possibility. Some of them more terrifying than others. So you feel your mind go to some dark and strange places.
Does he take out the coin?
No, he wasn't taking it out. He was just kind of comparing it mentally. He probably has his hand in his pocket, though. But that would probably not seem very unnatural for him. I feel like he's the kind of guy that would be walking with both of his hands in his pocket at all times.
It's
Usually.
But then again, like, neither Richard nor Leslie see these symbols on this statue.
I am a little concerned by why he just walked into the fountain. Or Leslie would be.
Yeah,
anyway.
it was completely unannounced. I just took a hard left and climbed down the fountain.
Yeah, I mean, that would raise some suspicions. Obviously.
So, thinking back, is he getting more and more giddy the closer to the castle we're at?
It seems like he's just, like, you think he's just been, like, the same amount of giddy as when he arrived. Like, it wasn't really easy to sense that he was being giddy until, like, you kind of got a time to examine him, like properly. But
Can I do a psychoanalysis to see if there's something fucked up about him?
I mean, you could try.
I would like to try. Jean, that is a regular success.
There doesn't seem to be anything, like, fucked up. It's a little bit unnerving to see him, like, giddy, really. But, like, when you kind of think about it, like, this whole case has been kind of a shit show with everything.
True.
And, like, this giddy could be, like, he's giddy about this case maybe coming to an end, or maybe getting a proper, like a lead in it. He's never really
Like,
seemed
he
to be...
wasn't this happy. Well, fuck with.
Yeah, he's... I mean, this case has taken its toll on all of you, and, although Gene hasn't really shown it as much, like, he kind of... You can kind of sense that he's probably very fed up with a lot of the things, especially after dealing with all the Heralds stuff.
Well, especially after dealing with these two.
Yeah.
So sorry, that D4, was that sanity damage or Cthulhu Mythos?
Both. You take 1 point of sanity damage, and you get 1 point in Cthulhu Mythos.
Got it.
Your mind opened up to the void of possibilities that are beyond the human understanding. And you think that was only possible because you possessed that... Because you possessed that coin.
Richard, I'm worried.
So can I compare the symbols to the coin I have and the coin I've seen to see if I understand the symbols that would be needed to complete what's on the fountain? I understand I'm going against a 1, but...
You can try.
When in doubt, I will try. And I couldn't be much further from failing.
You try, and you try to kind of understand, like, are all these symbols the same? What are, like, does this fit? And when you try to think and try to piece together the pieces, you feel your mind kind of drift back into that horrifying space that you were in before, the void of possibilities, and you feel yourself getting distracted and hard to concentrate. And you feel the symbols kind of just drift apart in your mind, and you can't really place. You recognize some of them. Some of them you don't. Or do you? You're uncertain.
Perfect.
Hey, Leslie.
Guys, I found something.
What do you mean you're worried? Is it the same worry that I expressed earlier?
I'm worried about Jean. Shouldn't be acting like this.
You know, I'm one to talk, but he is acting like a damn fool, isn't he?
Yeah.
What'd you find, Gene?
More of those coin symbols on the fountain.
And I look at Richard. And then slowly I go and I take off my shoes and my socks, and I roll up my pants, and I get into the fountain.
The water
Make
is
sure the fountain's empty.
the water is cold and kind of slimy to the touch.
Oops, I climbed in with my shoes on, apparently.
Yeah, I
You
know.
did.
Yeah.
I know you did.
Which
Sorry, I
made it.
Buy the symbol.
That's why it stands out. I'm like, gee.
I
Why are you still in your
immediately-
shoes?
I immediately get out of the fountain because it reminds me of the apartment of Short's apartment. I'm like, what is it, Gene?
I point at where the symbols are, and I go, don't these look like the ones that were on that coin?
And I squint, and I go, yeah, dude.
When standing at the edge of the fountain, you can't really at all tell what those are. They're
I know, but
They're
I'm
ver-
playing along.
Yeah.
To placate.
they're very small.
Right, Gene, go inside now.
Yeah, okay, and I make note of what the symbols are.
Remember, Richard heard that person yelling for help.
Yeah, you're right. Alright, let's go.
Alright. I'm gonna write down these symbols for you so that I can send them to you. And I mean, it's fine that the others see them because you've technically shown them.
I didn't bring this. Why does that one stick out?
Is the
These are these
Oh, okay.
symbols on the Hearst fountain. There they are. I need the lid for my pen because I don't want it to dry. Because it is my Chocobo pen. It brings me joy. Alright. I have these symbols written down and I'm sending them to you now.
I put back on my shoes and socks.
Yeah, the slimy texture of the water is kind of still lingering on your feet for like a while. You kind of just try to clean it off. The water feels very like strangely thick. You just clean that off before you put on your socks and shoes. But your feet kind of feel strangely cold afterwards. Again, the air.
What I do is actually use my socks to like clean and dry my feet, and then like I throw them on the ground and I just put my shoes on.
Yeah, the air here feels. Again, you kind of feel the air, like the strange, stale but still air, with the kind of cold feeling to it. The air isn't cold, but kind of makes you shiver. When you now, when you're stepping out of the water, Jean, you're kind of more paying attention to this at the time. Because you're kind of always paying attention to what might give you reflections. You notice that the murky water that's in the fountain, like, because of its weird texture that your friend Leslie seems to be very grossed out by, it doesn't seem to reflect anything. It just seems to, like, when you look, just try to see whether or not you give a reflection in it. You just see really not even a shape. It just seems to be murky. Doesn't seem to reflect anything at all.
Cool.
Which makes you really relieved. You head towards the main door. The dead air around you kind of shifts as you walk towards it. Richard starts kind of like nervously walking closer to Leslie and Jean than he would normally. And as you arrive at the door, you see you see that the door is slightly ajar, hardly noticeable when standing away from far away from it. But once you've reached the door itself, you can see that you can kind of slightly see the opening, and you can see that the lock on the house, the lock on the house seems to be, well, not broken, just not functioning. And you kind of push the open door fully, the ajar door open, and you walk into the building's vestibule. It is a small area, not... most of the things there seem to have some white blankets draped over them. Kind of customary as when you leave a place for a while. Just not wanting dust to settle on all of your furniture. The kind of air inside this house feels weird. You kind of feel as if it's not still, it's not stale, it's not It doesn't even give off that kind of cold feeling as the outside did. It just kind of feels empty. The smell is a bit sour. Like a stinging kind of, like it feels kind of, if you could taste the air, it would be really sour and kind of, would not say it's a citrusy at all smell. It's more of like a, it's not a, it feels kind of as if you're smelling like a rotten lemon, but not like it's not very strong. It's kind of lingering in the air, very faintly. There's no door leading to the next room, the what is called the assembly room. It is a just what seems to be a giant, pretty big greeting hall. Mostly probably meant to receive guests. It's kind of like a large entrance hall. And again, the same applies there. The whole room has white sheets draped over the few furnitures that are in there.
Does this feel like the short apartment?
Not exactly. I mean, it does not feel exactly like the short apartment. It gives you kind of the same unnerving feel, but not the exact same. It feels like there's something different here, at least. You don't really feel a lingering dread over you like you did in the short apartment. For Eugene, most of those, like, the smell doesn't bother you. You don't even get any sense of, like, you don't get any sense of dread, fear, or anything like that. Nothing compared to what you felt in the short apartment. You feel strangely relaxed in here. You're it doesn't seem to bother you nearly as much as it seems to be bothering both of your fellows. Richard.
Yeah. I walk out, I go, neat old house.
For you, Richard, this place, although it doesn't feel exactly like the short apartment, it feels very similar to another place you kind of peered into for a while. And although you can see kind of on the facial expression of Leslie that, like, you can kind of sense that Leslie feels that there's something familiar here. You can kind of tell what is familiar. And you're reminded at the time when you and Lisa went into the short apartment and you lost Lisa for a while.
Well, trying to remember, did I explain that whole situation?
You did not. You did not explain it really well to them, and you were really... I think you talked a little bit about what happened with Lisa and with Adam, but not with Jean and Leslie. Because you were afraid that telling, like, they would not believe anything you would have said. If I remember correctly.
Right.
But the same kind of fear and the same kind of worries that you had at that time kind of like wash over you, and you can not losing your shit, but this is obviously something very similar, if not kind of the same as what happened happened to you and Lisa and Adam. You have it would not be wrong to say that you have a bad feeling about this place.
Richard, are you doing okay?
Well, since we're just here to find what's his face, I think I'll step outside, guys. You know, just make sure no one walking around.
Turning around, you see the door closed. You, kind of in panic of kind of remembering what happened last time, you rush to the door and you grab the handle, and you distinctly remember the lock not working on this house. It was kind of stuck. You didn't really you could hardly like move the handle of the house when you pushed it open, and it doesn't budge. The handle seems to be stuck in place.
And is it dark in here too?
It is not. It's kind of like it's being filled with a little bit of light, but not. Feels more like it's moonlight being lit into here than daylight. And you did arrive late afternoon. However, you do remember the whole like grounds being like it was very cloudy outside. Oh.
I do say under my breath, oh no, it's happening again. I turn around at Leslie. I don't want to be in here.
What?
Really don't want to be in here right now. The door's locked. This happened at the short apartment for me. And I immediately pull out my flashlight, even though there is still light, and I click it on, and I'm just kind of holding it up.
The short apartment.
It was the short apartment, right?
Yep.
Okay. When Jensen and I we went to investigate it, am I able to get it out this time, Godpool, at least somewhat?
Let's see.
I went through it once before.
Let's see how well you will like get it out. Like you would be able to say it, but like I'm pretty sure if you'd lose your shit, like when you're explaining it, you'd just bumble it out in a very confusing way. So just roll for me like sanity, not for damage, but just to see how coherent you are.
Prepare for incoherency, everybody.
Oh, you succeeded! You can be as clear as you want. You steal your mind as you kind of think to yourself, okay, it's time I tell them. It's time I tell them what happened.
All right. So you see me, yeah, I do the steal my mind. I close my eyes, take like 3 deep breaths, and get like this most deadpan serious face possible. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened.
You're preparing to do that, you hear Jean start walking into the house. I haven't noticed the door. And you just hear me call, Hurst, are you there?
You get no response as you yell that out. And you can hear Richard's voice kind of fill into the still silent air.
I'm like, Leslie, when I went to the short apartment with Jensen and Lisa, something happened. The door closed, and suddenly it was extremely dark, like we were standing in shadows. And we tried to go through. Lisa disappeared. She went ahead, and Jensen and I were back to back. We could not find her. It's like we were yelling. We were in the deepest cave you can imagine, pure darkness. And when we shined our flashlight, it just stopped. The light didn't go anywhere. and then this shadow came out of nowhere at me, and we kept going, tried to find Lisa, and then there was this window that there was like desert on the other side of this window that we saw, and I lost myself. In fact, I hate to say this, but I went back to World War II, and I was surrounded by all the dead friends that were under me, and I couldn't control my own mind at the time. But Jensen kept me together, and he got Lisa back somehow. This is the part where I get fuzzy about what happened, but it was like we were in two different places. It's like there was our reality, then there was an in-between, and then there was a whole nother step on the other side that Lisa went to. And I think I've explained it the best I can right now, right? And this feels exactly like that. And that door just shut and locked on me. I can't open it. You can try yourself. Leslie, I think it's happening again.
Does he still have the crowbar?
He left it in the back seat of the car. He does have his gun, but he's not it's still holstered.
I was actually thinking about possibly shooting the lock and see.
I put my hand on his shoulder, and I look him straight in the eye, and I say, I believe you. Get that fucking door open.
Roger that. Turn around, point my gun at the door, and fire.
You're firing at the lock?
Yep.
You pull the trigger, aiming your let's see, I want to know what gun it was.
1911. Standard.
You aim your 1911 at the lock. Close your eyes and just pull the trigger. And you hear a and you look, and Leslie, you watching him shoot the door, you just see the bullet hit the lock and just bounce off of it, just immediately, hitting the ground next to him.
I'm just going, internally, I'm just going, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Roll for me two things. I want you to roll Sandy, because you've never seen anything, you've never seen a lock do that before. And roll for me a spot hidden.
Right, so that's sanity. And the spot hidden, I believe, is not a success. Let me double check. Where are
Alright.
Your spot hidden is a 28, so you do not notice this, but you did succeed on your sandy check. So you do not take any sandy damage, but you are deeply disturbed by what you just saw. Gene, you just heard the gunshot, and you just kind of turn around, just kind of startled, and you just see you just see Richard just aiming his gun, not aiming it anymore at the lock, but kind of holding it at his side and just kind of looking at the door in a little bit of disbelief, with Leslie standing a little bit to his right, just looking somewhat just a little bit horrified at what just transpired.
Barden, what the hell are you doing? Did you lose your hat?
I'd turn at Gene with, a completely serious look. Gene, we've got to get out of here now.
What's wrong with the front door?
Gene, you weren't in here when I explained this to Leslie. This is just like the short apartment and what happened there to me and Jensen and Lisa. The door locked, we can't get it open, and my bullet just bounced off. I tried to fire it and get the lock busted so we could get out. It repelled my bullet.
I walk up to the door and try and open it.
The handle just does not budge.
It's just solid.
Yeah. Do me a favor, though. Roll power. which is gonna be a...
I don't think I make that one.
You failed it. You grab the handle and you feel like for a moment that it, like, this is not shouldn't be an issue, and you pull the handle and you think for a moment that it's gonna go down, but it doesn't.
Well, son of a bitch. Try a window next time, Richard. And I go back to wandering the house.
Gene, do not go into this house any further.
It's just a house. It's not gonna bite you.
And
Gene,
since, is there
yes,
is
sir.
there a window beside the door?
There is a little, like, once you walk past where the vestibule would be, there are two windows on the edges of the room, which you can see, like, pretty big. They seem to be draped right now.
I say, Gene, watch this, and I just grab a heavy object, whatever it is, and I chunk it at the window.
So you just grab the closest, like, table next to you, and you just grab it up.
Not necessarily a table, yeah, not necessarily a table, but something like small hard rock, you know, something just
Candlestick?
small, yeah, candlestick,
Yeah,
whatever this guy.
You can, like, you throw a sheet off of one of the like side tables, and you just grab a candlestick, and you just kind of rush at the window, and you just throw it full force at the window itself, and you hear a and it's the candlestick bounces from the window just harmlessly down.
Now, would you like me to shoot the window too to prove it that way, Gene, or are you going to listen?
I don't know. Could be some bullet-resistant glass. Yeah, sure. Try shooting it.
All right, you're gonna shoot the window.
Yep.
All right. I'm not gonna have you roll to hit anything because it's a pretty big window.
Yep.
You steady your aim. You take a deep breath, and you shoot. You hear a shattering sound for a moment. And you suddenly hear, like, and Gene, in the wall next to you, you see a kind of, you just instinctively look there because you feel something brush past you. You look and you see just a little bit behind you in the wall there is a tiny bullet hole.
I sort of finger the bullet hole. A nice shooting, Tex.
I get a very angry look on my face. Gene, that is not normal. And I just outright ask, what the hell is wrong with you? You are not focused.
You hear a little, like,
I turn in the direction I hear it.
you turn towards the window. The window's still there. There seems to be like and when you walk a little bit closer, you see there seems to be like a tiny crack in it, letting in some sorts of wind. But the window itself seems to be, like, when you're kind of distracted by this crack in the window for a while until you kind of just take a moment, and because there are drapes in front of the window, and you get a strange feeling remembering the window back in the short apartment, and you kind of pull the drapes very reluctantly, and you see only darkness at the other side of this window. Just
And
black.
I outright just go, damn! Leslie, this is exactly like that now. I'm 100% certain.
Jean, interestingly enough for you, the window seems to be clear. Just like it is supposed to be.
I'm sorry, I might have missed something. We cut out for a second. What's wrong
To
that?
to Richard and Leslie, the window looks like it's pitch black on the other side. But to you, it looks normal.
Got it.
Can I roll for idea?
You can. Do you want to comprehend this?
No, I don't want to know what this is. I want to know what's the best next course of action.
Yeah, I don't know
Alright.
if I cut out when I said it, but I turned to you, to the two of them, and sort of said, "Well, what do you propose we do then?" I don't know if I cut out before I said that.
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay. You want to roll for
I
idea?
do want to roll for idea.
Well, fine then. Roll for idea. I think that.
75.
What?
I got an idea.
Oh, okay. So you want to know what the best course of action is. Alright, you have no previous experience with dealing with anything of the kind that Richard has put in front of you after he drew the drapes away from the window. So you go to what you would think are the more natural kind of reasons for this. Maybe somebody put something in front of the mirror, in front of the window at the other side. Maybe we just need to, if we want to get out of here, maybe we just need to break the window and push through. Or maybe there's another exit that is not locked in here somewhere. Probably in the back somewhere.
So I suggest that we go into the back and look for another exit.
I do say one thing, because I did hear Gene say, what do I suggest? The one thing, Richard at least says, alright, I know at least one thing. Leslie, before you walk off, we all three need to stay together. Same room, do not enter another room without the other two beside you. Because Lisa disappeared on Jensen and I when she went ahead.
Now, in this room, there are 4 doors. 2 of these doors would lead to what you would believe to be the towers on each side of the entrance, like on the back side that is behind the assembly room. The other 2 would lead to what is the, if you look at the map that I sent you, is the refectory.
Gene doesn't want to go to a reflectory.
It's not, I misspoke, refectory. There's not anything that reflects anything there. Or you don't really know, you haven't gone in there. Properly, at least. Gene's probably walked into the door when he was, looking at stuff ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you would know that this is a large room. Just has a lot of paintings and just, it's kind of like a gathering room. Just
The room with the paintings, I've already seen it on a brooch or something. Do any of the paintings have a person with the coin on them as either carrying it or a brooch or a necklace or I don't know, maybe earrings or something like that?
it's good. You're gonna have to examine these paintings. looking for a very small detail on them all.
And while
I
he's
barely meet that.
You barely. Oh yeah, you do barely just make that. Well, what do you guys do as Jean heads into the room?
I'm still looking for any exits.
You're still in the assembly room at this moment.
Oh, then I'm gonna.
Like
see them go
Jean
in
is
there.
walking. Like Jean was kind of standing in the refectory like door, where it leads into this gathering room for guests
Right.
and all
If
that.
he goes in, I'll go. Where are you going?
And I'm guessing Richard will like stick close.
Yes, but I also have something I'm trying to do. Now, during the short apartment incident, I was obviously, my brain went elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But did my mind, while my consciousness was crazy, did my subconscious perhaps remember or catch anything about how we got out of there? And I was going to see if maybe an idea roll or something like, because I know that Richard wouldn't have the best idea about remembering how they got out of there, but maybe somewhere deep down he does.
You can try.
And I don't know what you need from me on this, or
roll for me an idea. I will warn you. This might give you that you might comprehend some things you do not want to comprehend if you do this. Like Richard, when he would try to think about a way to escape, he would he had no idea. He had no idea. He would, and given his little experience with it, he would probably expect it to be something weird.
probably.
But this would be an idea roll.
Yep. Oh, I know where. Oh God. All right, here we go. Oh wow, I didn't even get any successes. Yep, my brain says no, and I have an 85 for idea. That's
Yeah.
funny. My brain just really doesn't want me to remember anything from that incident.
You close your eyes and you kind of for a moment as you're following Leslie and Jean into the refectory, and you take a moment and you feel you should remember, but you feel your own mind protect you from that knowledge.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm actually proud of my brain. Sort of.
You feel like if you had more power to if you'd be a little bit stronger, your mental state would be a little bit better. You think your brain would you think your mind would allow you, but you can feel yourself kind of protecting yourself from the information.
Right.
And given what you experienced, you're not surprised.
And with that, I'm like, Leslie, I'm trying my damnedest, but I just can't remember any way out of how we got out of the short apartment. I got extremely fuzzy at the end, so I apologize. I'll try to think of something else later. For now, and then I turn and I start following, just stay close to Jean.
Now, Jean, you're in this room and you're looking at all these paintings. Jean walked into the room, stopped, kind of looked around, and just headed to the first painting he saw. And you can see him kind of take his time looking at each and every painting, and kind of take a step and look at the next one. And what do you guys do while he's looking at the paintings?
So, I sort of would like to put a couple of things together in my mind, and we're pretty sure that we were essentially told by the professor that these coins were used in travel.
And what you said?
We were told earlier today by the professor that these coins with these markings on them were used in traveling. They were gate stones.
Called keystones.
Keystone.
What, let's see. They, yeah, you would have, he told you guys that they were called keystones, and they've been owned by a lot of, like, they were owned by very interesting individuals throughout time. And they seem to have like the symbols on them seem to be kind of like coordinates on a map. Is what basically he told you. What they do was not very was something he wasn't sure about, because he had never actually researched them himself. But that would be a fair assumption that they're used as a traveler.
Godpool, we just lost you for a second again. Sorry, we have garbage connection today.
Or did you put us on data?
Basically, just with everything he told you, the Professor Quinn, it would not be wrong to assume that yes, they probably serve as some sorts of like a means of travel of some sorts, because the symbols kind of like are kind of set up in such a way that they kind of remind you of like coordinates on a map.
So I turn to Richard and I say, you remember when we were talking to the professor? Richard?
Sorry, there was a cutout. What was that?
You remember when we were talking to the professor? And he was talking about these keystones.
Yeah, I was there.
Do you think there's one here? Do you think that's what's going on?
I mean, considering the experience, the little bit of connection there, it's not too much of a stretch to go that direction.
Well, maybe if we find out, we can find a way out of this place.
And just kind of hang my head. All right. What do you got in mind? Room by room, all three of us.
So, well, the one was on a coin and the other one was on a brooch. So it's gonna be something small. It's probably not gonna be something that was left in like the kitchen. I mean, we can search there if we can't find anything else anywhere else. But my best guess, we should probably just at least search bedrooms, study, maybe the library.
As they're kind of discussing this in the background, Eugene, you continue to look over these paintings, and so far nothing has caught your interest. But looking at the but one thing you do notice with kind of just with your because this is within your areas of expertise, that one of the paintings that you're looking at looks a little bit weird. Roll for me a forgery.
Sure.
He's good at that.
I'm really good at that. I think that's at least a hard success.
This one of these
Yes.
one of these paintings is obviously altered in some way, and with your trained eye, you can easily tell it's a sloppy job. You can tell that with your spot hidden, you could tell that there was something off with this picture from the get-go, but with your forgery check, you can tell immediately what it is. So as a means of kind of hiding information in plain sight, somebody has painted probably painted this on this painting the original layer, which had probably everything that was supposed to be there, and then they painted on kind of a clear sheet, like a transparent sheet, like almost the same image, just taking out the information that you don't want to have there. So what do you want to do with this? You do know that this is like a painting that has like 2 layers on it. So you would just have to take the front layer to see what is supposed to be there.
Yeah, so without saying anything, I go, and I pull the painting off the wall and go over to a table, right? I'm assuming there's some sort of table in the room.
Yeah, there's a table in the middle. This is a picture of just what seems to be somewhat of like a kind of like a man in his like 30s to like somewhere in his between 30 and 40. And wearing kind of fine clothing, just you wouldn't like. He looks kind of European, and you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out a pocket knife and just start gently removing the paint, the second layer of paint.
Yeah. So basically, what you do is you start cutting the sheet, which is covering the original one. Like along the frame, like very loosely, and you kind of start pulling it off. And when you pull it, you can see that it's painted, and at some point you can just see directly through it. So it's just like it's like they took a sheet of plastic and painted on that.
Got it.
And you just very gently remove it, and you can't really say that you're surprised when you see who the image is of. It is, strangely enough, a painting.
Is it Horrells? Fuck Horrells.
No, it's not Horrells.
That would be hysterical.
Like, what? No, it is.
The painting. What was that about? Nothing.
It is a painting of a man you remember having a brooch before. This time, however, it's pretty clear. This is a painting of Hitler. And back
Of who?
of Hitler.
Oh, Hitler.
Yeah. And you kind of remember back when Professor Quinn showed you the picture, the one that was supposed to have of him having it on him, in some sorts of like a metal or brooch like fashion, similar to what Underwood had. You can see now that this painting, this like kind of full like portrait painting of him, includes the coin. Whether or not the owners of this picture knew what the coin was at the time, but is up for debate. But this picture does include the coin very clearly.
And it's the same coin the last time we saw this brooch.
I mean, you would wager to guess so. Yes, it was really hard to tell on the picture that was taken, because the pictures don't have that much quality for like very fine detail. But
And just making sure for my own reference.
But yes, it does seem like the same one.
That coin's the same as the one that I have, or different?
It is the same as the one that you have. You would know that like immediately.
Yeah, so I pull it, I rip the painting apart and go, oh, neat.
So,
Hey guys, if nothing else, we can get them for being Nazis.
so I come in. I said, "What did you say?"
I said, if nothing else, we can get them for being Nazis. Look. They're keeping a painting of Hitler. Oh yeah, and the coin.
So yeah, I was just about to ask, are you ripping apart the painting?
Well, I've taken the top layer off, right?
Yeah, you're taking the top layer off.
So to them, it looks like I'm just destroying the painting.
Oh yeah, you just look at him just decimate this painting, and you're just, what the fuck is he doing?
Don't worry, I'm a professional. I've done this before.
You'd have to be a little bit impressed though with the handiwork. This was a very well done job, and they managed to completely like conceal who the original painting was of with that, even just by hiding a little bit of information. But
I'm just floored. We just got out of the fucking war, and there's a painting of Hitler.
Yep.
yeah, neither one of you, like Richard and Leslie, you saw him like take this down and just immediately start shredding it. And you didn't, like, you saw what the picture was of it, like what the portrait was of it originally, and like,
Who was the guy originally? Was it anyone I recognized?
no,
by the way?
it just seemed like a portrait of some European dude.
Okay.
You know, them European dudes, they all look the same.
Oh, and look, when I took the top layer off, it's a picture of a European dude.
Yeah. Well, when you take the top layer, like, and you just show it, it seems like it's just like paintings that, like, seems like the hair and like the mustache and everything has been altered, but like parts where like his face would be and like and some of the locations where his clothes are just translucent, like you can just see directly through it. So like, yeah, it looks like he's holding up a very strange picture of just like features on something. Otherwise, it just looks like, yeah, it looks like floating hair, floating mustache, floating like parts of a suit.
Hey, he's definitely got the same coin that we've got.
I was actually going to ask if I should do a roll to see, but since he just gave us that information...
Yeah.
So I have so I actually go, are you sure? I mean, we didn't look at the coin for that long.
I look at like the brooch again, and then back at Leslie. Definitely positive.
Alright.
Now, Gene seemed to be very, like, distracted by the paintings as soon as he walked into the room, that he didn't really pay too much attention to everything else in there. Now, for you, Gene, for you, Leslie, and Richard, you've taken some time as you were talking just kind of to walk around the room. The room is basically just a gathering room, like a gathering hall, just for like guests. You could have a party in here. It has a few paintings. There's like at least there are like 2 windows on each side that seem to be like boarded up similar to as before. You kind of checked just to be sure. But on the other end, there seems to be a very large mirror. It's covering like about 80% of the wall there.
I walk up towards it.
You see your reflection approach the mirror. Standing up against it, it seems just kind of like a mirror.
So, I must have read Alice in Wonderland when I was little, so I put my hand up and I touched the mirror.
Nothing really strange seems to happen. Put it on the mirror you... Oh, And then you hear... And you just instinctively, like, recoil your hand away from the mirror. And the sound stops.
Guys, come here.
I look up. It's a mirror.
No, come
Yeah,
here.
you see the mirror and you just immediately turn away.
No, No,
Wait,
Do I see anything? Or does it just look like mirror?
it just looks like a... That's a good question. Now, here's the reason why you didn't notice anything. It just looks like it's a... It just looks kind of like a window to you.
What's on the other side?
On the other side, you see like a small hallway, and then a window that goes into an even larger hallway.
From what I've seen of the house, does this make sense to me?
I mean, it could be that this house just has a mirror that allows you to see into another room of it.
Well, I'm thinking more like, does it, from what I've seen of the house so far, does it make logical sense that there is a hallway, like that there?
Yeah. It would make sense to you. It's you would
Okay.
you would remember that the house is, like, this castle is pretty big, and more so on the on the back side than the front side.
So it looks like a window to me, or it looks like a hallway?
It looks like a window that leads into a hallway, and on the other wall, there's another window that you can see into another hallway behind. It's basically like you're looking through two windows.
Oh, okay.
And, Leslie, you just see this mirror that kind of concerns you. Richard, you feel very, reluctant in coming closer to this mirror. Kind of. But, you don't, like, nothing's really stopping you from going closer to it. It just
And
I
feels...
walk up to it, no qualms.
I do hesitate looking at Leslie. And then I take...
touch the mirror again when I can.
kind of...
And...
Yeah.
Oh, and then I take a very slow few steps forward.
Yeah. So you're standing just a little bit behind Leslie, and as you're about to touch the window again, Leslie, you see Jean just kind of nonchalantly walk up to the mirror and just kind of look at it. Yeah, and he's not really examining the mirror. It's just like he's kind of looking at it, like directly at it.
All right, so
Who puts a window in a hallway?
I grab Gene by the wrist and put his hand against the mirror.
So, yeah, this is uncomfortable, Jean. You can resist this if you want.
Yeah, I just sort of push her hand away and go, "What do you want?"
So,
Trust.
So, unless you want to contest this, Leslie, you can roll a grapple check again on him.
So
Just force his
I
hand.
want to persuade.
No, I'll let you. I was just more startled by I'm looking down this strange hallway because who the hell puts windows in a house on the inside? And then Leslie just sort of suddenly grabbed at my hand. I don't swing that way, Leslie. No, I don't say that.
Oh no, he knows my secret. So I try again. I grab his wrist and I put it to the mirror.
Yes, it's a window.
Does anything happen when he touches it?
Now, he just seems confused this entire time while you're making him touch, but Jean, you do hear something.
I knock on the window. I knock on the glass. I'm like, it's just glass.
I said you hear something.
Oh, I do hear something.
Hi, friend.
See, it's welcoming.
What?
What the hell?
That's all you hear.
Okay. I step away from the large window.
Yeah,
Do I see any symbols on the walls or pictures on the walls in this hallway?
no.
It's just a blank hallway.
It's just a hallway. Like there seems to be like, there's just kind of like very basic decor, but nothing like that catches your eye.
I've seen this in other old houses as well. Does it look like there's any catch or anything that would let the windows open that I could step through into the hallway?
No.
Okay. Odd feature to put in the house, and I walk away from it.
So, I'm gonna do something that's probably stupid, but I stand to the side of the mirror, and I pull my gun, and I shoot at the mirror. And I'm very careful to not stand where A, the bullet could bounce back and hit me, or B, where any shards of mirror could hit me.
So you take a deep breath and aim at the mirror, and you kind of close your eyes and look away as you just take a shot at it, and you hear like Richard, you see the mirror just immediately like shatter, just not break, just cracks forms all over it, and Jean, you hear a and you kind of instinctually kind of grab your like your shoulder, and you feel pain course through your body. Now do me a favor. I want you to roll for me Constitution. And
Me?
to see whether or not, like, do you want to conceal your sudden amount of pain?
Not, I don't care that much.
Alright.
But, let's see. No.
Yeah, Jean just...
Son of a bitch!
Just, you shriek out a little bit in pain, and you just fall down, and you just... Oh! And, and both of you kind of immediately, look towards Jean as this happened. You see him collapse down to the ground. And you just kind of, to make sure what happened, you look at the window, and you at the mirror, and you just see it immediately start to repair itself. Like, you saw it all just crack, and then suddenly, and the cracks are gone. Now, Jean, I have a fun fact for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Because my fear of mirror is gone.
No.
He has become the mirror.
Now, Jean, you take 3
Yay.
points of damage.
God damn it.
You look at where your shoulder, like at the shoulder where you grab, and you see that you're bleeding.
Well, I'm fucked up. Okay.
Good thing we brought in that first aid kit.
I'm at 3.
Oh shit.
Hey, welcome. That's where I'm at.
Wow, you could have died.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even look at what you rolled.
It's a D10 plus 2, so
Fuck. That would have killed me from full. I think.
Yes, it would have.
Yeah.
So Richard is sharing in shock. The mirror gets shut, and Jean feels pain.
Yeah, both Leslie and Richard, do me a favor, roll sanity, because this shit ain't normal.
Can I roll anything but?
I'm okay.
Leslie, you take a single point of sanity damage.
Okay.
As much as you look at this in horror, and as much as your mind kind of tries to deny it, you just... some part of your psyche just cracks a little bit.
Oh my god!
Richard, surprisingly enough, in all of his shock, looking at this mirror, his psyche that has already been battered by all of the incidents that have happened, he seems to be a little bit more used to it than Leslie. Richard, you do not take any. You've been in situations of similar kinds as this, so you do not take this damage. And you failed last time something like this happened. That's back at the short house, where you failed all of your sanity checks.
The experience is powering me up. It's powering me up.
Your mind just denies what is about, denies the pain, says, you've seen this. You've experienced this. You are stronger now.
And I put my hand on Leslie's shoulder. Why is he hurt?
So I go and check Gene. Does he have like a bullet wound in him?
So as you, as both Leslie and Richard kind of look towards Gene, lying on the floor, kind of in pain, it's where we will fade.
And so will Gene. Gene dies.
It would have been so funny if you just like, you would have died there and it would have been like, you would have been, what's happening here? But damn guys, if our boy Callan didn't need to leave soon, I would have probably gone a lot longer. But
We'll be
yeah,
back
next week without any problems.
No, I should be good.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I mean, we can start closer to noon. I know it depends on you getting off.
Yeah, I was like this today is a work day for me, so that's the only reason why we got so late here. But
Gotcha.
But next week is not a work day, so.
Gotcha. Cool.
But aren't you guys excited? You got into the spooky house. How do you like this?
Fine. Gene's fine.
Which reminds me, I want to do something to you, Richard, just before you leave.
Huh?
Now, this is just the final stuff that happens. With your mind kind of settling in and realizing all of the shit that's been happening, and like kind of, you feel for kind of the first time kind of safe in this space of insanity that you've been struggling with this entire time. And out of everyone in this group, your mind has been molded the most to handle this kind of crap. Now with your experiences with the void, you'll get a single point of Cthulhu Mythos.
No.
I love that. Just no. That desperate laugh. But yeah, this went great, guys. Just a standard day for us all. Leslie getting a point in psychology to upgrade, and somebody getting shot and maimed, and for once Richard did not go incredibly insane. It's a new thing for all of us.
Yeah, really something.
Gene's perfectly normal.
Is he though?
Yeah. Of course he is.
For now, at least.
He's fine. Sure.
But yeah, now you're finally in the Hearst Castle. For a moment there, for a moment in the beginning, when you saw the place was like desolate, I thought for a moment you were just gonna turn around and leave. Like, I knew you were gonna go in there at some point, but like, there was a moment where I just was, they might just go. They might just look at this and say like, it's not worth it. Let's just leave. What a very, very anticlimactic way of ending a campaign. Just, yeah, no, this is not worth it. It would be very interesting in a way that I've never seen anyone just have all of their characters just give up on the thing.
It would have been funny because I would have said we're going back and filing paperwork for Vic's secretary lying to the FBI. Oh yeah, he's at home. We were just there. He obviously wasn't, hasn't been. Thanks for obstructing an investigation. Get in the car.
Seems like, but yeah. How do you guys like being finally at kind of the end stretch of things?
Yes. It's been a wild ride, and I can't wait to see how it goes.
I think we've had all the sorts of like action movie tropes happening here, like secret messages at the taco truck, getting blown up, getting in a car chase, walking into a spooky house twice.
Yeah.
This time Richard's handling it a lot better the second time around.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, with his 24 insanity.
Right.
I'm freaking shocked you made that. I'm actually also pretty shocked that I rolled a 1 on that die.
You would have killed me dead.
It's like the dice actually want us to all die in the final episode instead.
Yeah. The dice just... They're like, oh, they will survive till the end until we will betray them all. So, just as kind of a ending point here before we just say bye to everyone. So the next story that I'm running, I've already started writing it, and I've just mentioned it to my peeps, and it's a story that's called let's see, It's Time We All Slept. And the difference between this campaign and that campaign is that they're both, it's gonna be a Call of Cthulhu 7th edition adventure. It happens in 1892, and it focuses more on the horror aspects than the mystery aspects. So hopefully that one will be more scary than this one. At least I'm gonna have fun fucking around with you guys. And that's gonna happen not shortly after we finish up this campaign. We might do either take a break or just a one-shot in between if we wanna do something funky in between. But I've written I'm almost done with the first chapter of that story, and that is basically session 1. So look forward to that, and that applies to everyone, including my players. So that shit's gonna be interesting, because it's a little bit different than what it's a little bit different than the script I wrote for Unsolved, because Unsolved is mostly focused on the mystery aspects of the game, with horror spread about, hidden in the backgrounds. Unless, your players immediately go searching for that horror, which mine did. I had this whole thing set up so that, if you would have...
go to the house, or the apartment.
I had this whole thing set up in such a way that you could have solved this without ever encountering anything like obviously occult. You guys could have literally walked through this and never realized, oh, there's some funky shit in the background happening here. Oh boy, let's figure it out. No. You guys just went down, like half of this campaign, you guys were on the, like, not gonna figure out anything occult, like, until, like, at one point, you just went, here's the spooky shit. It was funny to look at you guys just basically do normal shit until at one point, like, the spook slapped you in the face.
Well, especially when we didn't like meta and we came back from the weird shit. And it's like, do we tell them no?
Yeah, because, like, you've had, like, 4 or 5 sessions to kind of, like, be in the normal stuff, and suddenly you just got the spooky things, and it just, like, no, it wouldn't make sense to tell anyone about this. This just makes you sound insane. It was a smart move by you guys. I'm very happy that you guys did that. But aren't you happy now you finally have points in Cthulhu Mythos? It's the skill that everyone wants, right?
Nope, because that means sanity can never get above whatever the maximum that minus.
Did we lose something again? Godpool.
My favorite response to that was yours, Richard, because you were just, like, horrified. Wow! Gene's just... Michael, is your connection fine? You went robot there for a second. Yeah, I think their connection is... Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're losing them.
Oh no!
They're going on the other side of the mirror.
Oh no! Well, I guess I want to say oh yes, because you know that should be what the game master wants, right? Horror and chaos.
I Looney Tunes myself right out the house and leave like an imprint of Richard as I go through the wall.
But yeah, like there's one session left of Unsolved. It's gonna be interesting to see whether or not Richard, Gene, and Leslie get out of it alive. Who knows? Maybe they all get alive. Maybe just some of them get alive, or maybe they all die. Aren't you excited to figure out who's gonna die next session?
No one. Yep.
Sorry, we dropped. We cut out.
Wow.
Dude,
that is a little bit terrifying.
You guys are coming through extremely slow right now.
This is a little bit terrifying to listen to.
Godpool, they're speaking whale.
Oh no!
Hey, how?
But yeah, next session will be the last one. It might also be a longer one, depending on how things go. So we need to keep we'll all keep that in mind, that it might be a longer session than normal. And let's see, and after that we may have like a week or two where we will do maybe like something else in between, or take like a tiny break. We'll figure out. The last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to doing it's time we all slept. Hey, welcome back.
God damn it.
You were scaring us there for a moment. You were just like talking whale speak.
Oh.
Extremely extended out robots.
Perfect.
I was just saying that next week should be the last episode of Unsolved, at least for now, which we'll see how the story ends for our agents, and it might be a little bit longer session depending on what happens. But after that, the week or two after that, we might either take a break or do something else, like a one-shot or something like that. And after that, we will start It's Time We All Slept, which is the next campaign. And I'll probably change up my format a little bit, because what I'll do then is I'll probably like, just for the sake of making things like both easier when it comes to like uploading things and stuff like that, I might stream it on our Sunday slots. So I need to figure out what how to deal with that stuff when it comes to that. But either way, this has been.
Someone else robot.
But yes, just to end this off, I'm Godpool. Wow, I'm G-Man. I'm Godpool, and I want to thank you all for a sensational time. And these are my players: Kellen, who plays the wonderful role of Richard Barden, the not very insane man at this very moment.
That's right. Have a good day.
And Michael, who plays the role of Gene Franklin, what side is he really on at this very moment? Oh, cut out there, but that's fine. And lastly, Brienne, who plays Leslie Hart, the optimistic, I would guess, right now.
Bye.
Until next time, have a great time, and hopefully next session will not end in the deaths of everyone. Bye-bye!